Hey everyone, today we're diving into a big question that many of you are probably wrestling with. Should you buy a home now or hold off because you expect the rates to go down? Well, I was just one of a handful of agents who recently had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to be in a room with a question and answer session with Doug Duncan. Doug's been the chief economist for Fannie Mae since 2008, and he's in the process of retiring now. But in our event, he was asked, is it a good time to buy? And Doug gave the same answer he has given for years. He said, if the mortgage payment you can qualify for fits within your family budget, then it is a good time to buy. And with that one answer, Doug was really answering two questions. The first one being, is it better to rent or buy? And I think most people intuitively know the right answer to that question, and we can certainly unpack that one at a later date and in a lot more detail. But the second question is it better to buy now or wait? That's the question we want to explore today. And there's no denying that a lower interest rate sounds enticing. But today I'm going to show you why waiting can actually cost you more, a lot more, even if the rates go down. So let's start comparing the two scenarios and crunching some numbers. So suppose you're looking today at a $400,000 home with 5% down payment. If you're buying now, you would be buying probably right at 7%. That's where interest rates are today, here at the end of October 2024. And in that case, your monthly loan payment would be around $2,528. And understand for clarity that loan payment that we're talking about, that doesn't include taxes and insurance. If you were to throw that in and include the taxes and insurance, your private mortgage insurance, your home insurance, and the real estate taxes, your monthly mortgage payment is probably going to be around $3,300 on that $400,000 home. But that's going to vary from county to county, depending on what the taxes are. So we're just going to stick with that loan payment. So we're looking at a loan payment of $2,528. Now, how you feel about a 7% rate probably depends on how long you've been paying attention to rates. Historically speaking, 7% is not a bad rate. The average rate, actually, if you go back to 1971, is 7.72%. And rates hit at a high of 18.5, 18.6 back in the early 80s. So 7%, not a bad rate. Higher than what we saw a lot of the last 10 years, but it's pretty consistent where we've been for a couple of years now, and really flat to where we were last year. So the one thing that we do know about rates is they're going to change. What we don't know is the direction. They could go up, they could go down. Nobody has a crystal ball. There's so many factors that go into that, from the Fed rate to what's going on with the economy, political instability. Lots of things can impact that. So we can't really know where it's going to go. But here's the great news. If rates do go up, you win because you locked in your mortgage at 7%. So if rates go to 8, go to 9, go to 10, you're going to be really thankful that you bought now at that 7% rate. And if rates go down, you win because you have the opportunity to refinance at that lower rate. And most lenders that I work with now are offering a future low cost or no cost refinance if you use them for your purchase now. Now, most economists and the largest lenders, the Mortgage Bankers Association, they are all anticipating that rates will go down slowly over the next couple of years. The general consensus seems to be that by the end of 2025, we'll see rates in the low to mid fives. So that would be an interest rate of 5.375 or 5.5%. And ideally, that is right where they would like to see rates stay for the long term. For rates to drop below 5% again is probably going to take a large economic event, something that we all probably would prefer not to have happen. Something like what happened during COVID in 2021 or the banking crisis in 2008 to 2010. So you might be thinking, with that many smart people thinking rates will go down, it makes sense to wait, right? Well, not so fast. We need to look at the bigger picture and even more importantly, what happens over time. Because it's really easy to underestimate the power of time. You probably already know that real estate values consistently go up over time. Even when there may be a drop in property values in the short term, in the longer term, appreciation always wins out. Historically, property values average going up by about 4% a year, which is conservative for many markets today, including Atlanta. We've seen in the past couple of years, property values go up as much as 10 and 15% in a year. Right now, we're on track to be 5 or 6% of an increase. So 4% is a pretty conservative number. And that $400,000 home that you're considering today is probably going to cost an extra $30,000 or more in just 2 years. And the number of available homes, local demand, and other market changes will determine just how much. If we continue to be in a low inventory market, we can probably expect that those property values to go up by more than that 4%. So waiting to buy means that while your rate may be lower, you'll either have to pay more for the same home or you're going to have to settle for a lesser one. So it's time to talk about equity for a minute. So simply put, if you don't know, equity is nothing more than the difference between what your home is worth and how much you owe on it. So when you go to sell your property, that's the amount of money that you would be walking away with. You're going to be paid its value. You're going to pay off the loan. What's left over, that's your equity. That's what you get to walk away with. And this is where the biggest gains are made. This is the game changer. Waiting to buy means missing out on 2 years of equity growth. And that can be a lot of money. Every mortgage payment you make builds equity. It builds your wealth. Contrast that with renting, where 100% of your monthly payment goes towards someone else's investment. So when you decide to buy now, what that means is in 2 years, you'll have already chipped away at your loan. You'll pay part of that loan off and potentially gained thousands, tens of thousands in appreciation. So what does the math look like on that? So let's go back and look again at our example home. Using that example of a $400,000 purchase with 5% down, after 2 years of mortgage payments, the balance left on that loan is going to be just over $371,000. And assuming a 4% appreciation rate, which, like we talked about, is pretty conservative in today's market, your home value would now be $432,000 something. That means in just 2 short years, you've grown your equity position in your home to a whopping $60,000 plus. And the numbers get even better when we look at refinancing and exploring the refinancing option, because we've now in 2 years we've grown that $60,000 in equity. Interest rates have come down like the big brains projected and like you and I were hoping for. And let's say they're at 5.5%. Okay. Well, you refinance at this point. And when you do that, well, you're only refinancing the balance, that $370,000 that's left on your loan. And what that means is it's going to put your payment, and again, without taxes and insurance, at just over $2,100. So how does this scenario compare to just waiting the 2 years and assuming that the rates are at the same 5.5% from our first scenario, here's what that looks like. Because of the appreciation of home values, your purchase price for that same home is now $432,000. Your down payment of 5% is now higher because 5% of a higher value. Your down payment is now going to be $21,600 and something, and your monthly payment, again without taxes and insurance, is going to be $2,334. And the only equity you have when you walk away from that closing table is the down payment that you made. So you're going to have $21,600 in equity. So here's the bottom line. Looking at our example, buying now resulted in $40,000 more equity than buying in 2 years. And the monthly payment, those first 2 years, if you buy now, is going to be about $200 more for those 2 years. But then it's going to be $200 less for the next 28 years. That's a pretty amazing difference. So let's wrap this up with 5 quick bullet points. So the advantage of going ahead and buying now is one, you're probably going to have less competition out there. Right now, inventory is at a nice, healthy level, somewhere between 3 and 4 months of inventory. When interest rates do go down, what's very likely to happen is we're going to have an increase in buyer demand, and those homes are going to get snatched up. There's going to be competition. We're going to be paying higher prices. So by buying now, we avoid that competitive environment. We have a greater selection and a greater opportunity potentially for negotiation. The second bullet point is by buying now, we get to take advantage of the equity growth. And we find ourselves in a much better situation than we will 2 years from now because of what we've paid down on our loan and the appreciation that the home has had. We get to bypass rising property values. We're getting to buy it at today's price, not at tomorrow's price. The fourth thing is we've got that refinance flexibility. At whatever point, be it a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, when it's advantageous for us, we can refinance. And again, we're able to do that at very little cost. It's a win-win situation. We're happy with the interest rate we have, but if interest rates do get better, we get to lower them, and we don't have the risk of them being higher. And then lastly, buying now protects us from inflation. And the way that it does that, and it's just one of the greatest advantages of home ownership, is you get to lock in your housing cost for potentially the next 30 years. Rents continually go up. So if we're comparing buying versus renting, when was the last time you heard that rents dropped? Whereas when you enter into a mortgage, you know what your payment's going to be for that next 30 years. So in closing, as always, the decision is yours. Your situation's unique to you, and you need to do whatever's best for you and for the people that you care about. Usually the smart move is playing the long-term game. Making decisions to buy now could put you ahead in ways that lower interest rates in 2 years simply can't. So if you found value in this, if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the real estate market going forward. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Call me if I can help you with anything real estate related. Have a great day.